All right, everybody, it's your boy Puffinstein, aka Spankdog at YouTube. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And you already know, tick the notification bell so you could be notified when I upload and when I go live. Don't forget about the Kevin Durant giveaway. When I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm sending packages out. Watch other videos to be informed. There's quite a few videos that explain the Kevin Durant giveaway. There'll be 2 lucky winners. Oh, and a few freebies for some of my originals. So, yeah, for the people that were with me from the beginning, we're going to send you a Christmas present. But anyway, we're about to get into a scary video. All right. This is about 40 minutes long. It's 10 terrifying true scary stories from the channel Mr. Nightmare, and we are about to get it cracking. You know what I'm saying? So let me set it up. I like to set it up while I talk to you guys. It kind of works out. It takes about like 2-3 minutes to set it up, and I could get to say, "How's your families? I hope everybody's doing good." That's sincere. It's not like some other people that just really want you to watch the channel. But hopefully, most people are being sincere too. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the only good person on the planet. You know, there's a lot of good people on this planet. All right, so I'm just headed to my own channel, to the things that I've watched in the past. Oh, and actually, even though this is even though this is I lost my train of thought. Anyway, let's get to the video. I got it in. It should be in my history. History, browse videos. Yeah, man. I hope everybody's doing good, bro. On some really real. Um, let's see some- Oh man, hold on 1 second, people. Boogaloo, it's your boy. He came out of nowhere. He was, to be honest with you, books. Hold on, cause we live. Let me mute it. Yeah, my bad, people. My son just rolled up. You already know when it comes to the kiddies, when it comes to your child, you gotta, you know what I mean? You gotta drop everything sometimes, you know? So, but, all right. So, let me type it in the right way because it's not in my history for some reason. Terrifying. Oh, there's volumes to this. That's cool. All right, so maybe I'll pick. We're gonna watch one that I never seen before. You know, so I'm gonna take a chance on this guy. Like I said, it's got a lot of views, so I'm hoping that oh, I got it. All right, let me pause it real quick. Let me let me backpedal a little. All right. Um, I'm almost done, people. I'm about to launch it in a second. Hold, hold tight, real quick. All right, so that's what I wanted to do. All right, we're about to start sharing right now, y'all. Share screen. Okay, share screen. There we go. Right, and it's time to roast some marshmallows. Let's hear what Shifu got to say. I used to love Kung Fu Panda. I still love Kung Fu Panda, but I mean, I don't watch the Pixar flicks like I used to, and DreamWorks. All right, let's give this brother a chance. Stage now that I know you got to add it to this.
When I was 21 years old, I would be home alone at my parents' house a lot. We lived on a little pond.
All right, people, let's get it.
When I was 21 years old, I would be home alone at my parents' house a lot. We lived on a little pond, which was directly in our backyard. On the other side of the pond was a little town park. Our neighbors were a bit spaced out. It was a pretty upscale, expensive block compared to the rest of the town, so the properties were big. I'm fully moved out now, but this was back when I was in college. My parents make a lot of money, and we have multiple homes, so often I was home alone. It was a random night in the summertime. I was off from school, so I can't remember if it was the weekend or a weekday, but odds are since I was home, it was a random weekday. I was in the back sunroom watching a show. That was my favorite room in the house in the summer because it was the most cozy and had the best breeze with all the windows open. I was right on the corner of the couch, closest to the corner window, when I heard splashing from outside, like in the pond. It could have been a goose or a duck. Sometimes they'd fight.
Now, mind you, I never watched this brother, but this guy has 6.6 million subscribers. I'm hoping it's because the stories are really good.
Fight in the water and make a bunch of splashing sounds. So at first I ignored it, but as it persisted,
I'm gonna give him a chance, people. Let's see if it starts to sound like he's not keeping it official, or like he's just like I said, man, numbers, analytics matter. So let's see. Let's just give him the chance. Happy early Halloween. I like to start Halloween early.
I decided to lower the volume on the TV and listen. I put my ear up to the window even, and I heard consistent splashing sounds, way too heavy to be from a duck or goose. It sounded like they were splashes from a person. I opened the door in the sunroom and stepped outside to the deck. I looked out to the pitch darkness of the backyard. I now heard a man's humming along with the splashes. Someone was definitely swimming in the water. They were trespassing. Each house on the pond owned a specific chunk of the pond. I stepped inside for a second to flick on the lights to the backyard deck. As I did this, just a bit of the pond was exposed, and the splashes and humming stopped. Whoever it was clearly saw me. I wondered if...
This is what I don't understand. He tells the story in a first-person narration. He's got 10 terrifying true stories. Is he gonna tell everyone in the first-person narrative, making it sound like these are his stories? But of course, he's just putting himself as a first-person narrator. But I don't know about this, guys. Let's keep going.
If it was one of the neighbors going for a swim or something, which also just seemed weird because no one really swam in the pond ever. But honestly, whether it was or wasn't a neighbor, I wasn't going to confront whoever it was. I stepped back inside and turned off the lights, of course locking the door as well. I texted my brother, who was away at college, about it. He didn't answer right away. I was trying not to creep myself out over it, but watching TV after this was kind of hard. I couldn't focus on the show. I looked out the window, but all I could see outside was darkness. I still had the TV on in the background, not realizing how revealing the light from the TV would be outside. And then I thought I heard something on the deck. I hurried to find the remote and turn off the TV. And as the room went black and silent, it took me a few seconds to adjust and realize that there was the sound of someone's heavy breathing right outside one of the many windows in the room. I instantly laid down flat on the couch to try and hide myself. And after a short...
He's lucky. I'm trying to give him a chance. I don't want to cancel somebody out before watching them. But like I said, I just don't know. I think I'm gonna end up on one of my subscriptions and showing you a video that I know is official.
Short moment of silence. A deep voice from outside the window said, "I see you." My heart dropped into my stomach. I couldn't decide in the moment whether to speak.
Oh, why aren't they texting me back? Are they mad at me? Do they not like me anymore? I'm scared to ask for reassurance and fear that
or keep hiding. So I just blurted out, "Paul, is that you?" Paul was the name of one of our neighbors. I said this, clinging on to the hope that maybe it was him, and he was just messing with me. But the man outside didn't respond to this. I just heard footsteps walking away. As the barefoot-sounding footsteps faded to silence, I still laid flat on the couch, too afraid to move. I laid for a few minutes, before the thought to go check that all the doors were locked came to mind. I exploded off the couch and ran straight for the front door. It was locked, as was the side entrance door. After a little while longer and texting my entire family about what was going on, my dad told me to turn the backyard lights on and check if anyone was still out there. He basically told me to be the man of the house and protect it. So I listened and checked the back deck through the window. It was clear. I brought a big knife outside with me onto the deck, and I looked down. There were wet footprints that had half dried by then, but I could tell that they were barefoot footprints.
Okay, now it's starting to sound a little real because he's saying it's a bear, I think. So that's very believable, you know what I mean? So like I said, you gotta understand, when I go live with you guys, I got a certain amount of time. I go live usually when my kid goes to sleep. And I don't want to waste my time on some guy who just generated a story and he's a guy who had a channel for a long time and he's got those followers because he was early to the gold rush, you know what I'm saying? But I don't want to speculate and believe my own speculations before watching and seeing for myself. So let's keep it going.
I followed the trail of footprints around to the side part of the deck, and what I saw was nightmare fuel. The top part of someone's head, namely their eyes and forehead, was peering just over the edge of the deck from the ground below, looking at me as if he heard me coming and was waiting. As we made eye contact, he turned away, and by now I was ready to call 911. I did so before even telling my parents. I locked myself inside, waiting for them. When they came, I felt instantly better. They asked if our family had any enemies or people who don't like us, or if we have any problem neighbors. Questions like this.
It got a little spooky right now. I'm kind of liking it right now.
Yes. They did do a quick sweep of the property and then left. I decided to shut every window that night and run the air conditioning just for added safety. When I awoke the next morning, I was just delighted to see sunlight. I don't believe that man ever returned to our house, and we still don't know who it could have been. I have a dog who I take for a walk 3 times a day. First in the morning, then in the afternoon, and finally at night. I take him on the same route every time, which is through our driveway exit, which leads to a cul-de-sac parking lot for the condominium complex we live in. This will make sense soon as to why I'm telling you this. On the night walk, I always go somewhat late. I'm not sure why, but it's been a habit ever since I've had him, and it's never been a problem for us. Until one night, I begin our final walk of the day and go our usual route.
So in the first one, I got a little caught off guard because my son came over here and we had to go put him back to sleep. Listen, I know this is a break from the Halloween theme, but I figured you guys would want to know. So my son finally goes back to school tomorrow. My son, as you already know, most of you has severe autism. And I had a show, but if you missed it, you don't know. they were being, how could I put this? My son, we send him to summer school for the extra work, and so we can have a little extra time. Also, I like to always keep it official until I'm not ashamed of anything I do. You know, I'm a good man, and I walk the straight and narrow now, so I don't have nothing to hide. So first things first, he goes to summer school so he could learn more because he needs to learn as much as possible. And then also we send him so we could take care of stuff for the house and stuff while he's not running around being like off the hook. So summer school ends early. We only get like a month and a half of him getting schooled and him being taken care of for a second while we take care of other stuff. So like out of the whole summer, the summer's 3 months, we get like a month and a half of help and then and an extra schooling, and then we get a month and a half where we got to watch him ourselves 100% for like 90 days out the summer. So the first transition is easy because he finishes school and then he goes to back to school, to summer school, kind of quick. It's like a week and like 10 days. But then when he gets out of summer school, the transition from getting out of summer school to going back to school is like 5 weeks. So that's when the stretch comes where me and my lady have to handle everything and take care of our child who is like special needs. He has very special needs. And but we make it work because we know after a certain duration he goes back to school and we could go back to the routine that's a little less, frustrating. So it comes time for him to go back to regular school. Now, they told us that he should go to a certain school. We sent him to that school, and then when it came time for him to go to school, they said they didn't have a para for him because my son's autism is so extreme, he cannot get on a bus. Not even the little yellow buses without an escort. They didn't have an escort for him. It's called a para. So I be real upset when this is going on, things like this, because this is the type of stuff that happens. I'm sure parents go through stuff whether their kid has special needs or not, definitely. But in this case, the parent has a kid with special needs and they're crapping on us. So now school started literally, what is it, October 8th? So September, October. All right. He was supposed to go back around the 5th. He missed the first 36 days of school. And now they finally got him a para, and he goes to school for the first time in, since summer school in 3 months. For the first time, he goes back tomorrow. And I'm happy because I got a lot of work that I got to do. And while he's at school, I'm going to do as much as I can. And then my lady got to go out and get stuff for the house. Things get backed up too. Like there's the laundry hasn't been done in a second. Sometimes the dishes will pile up. So now, it's back to where we get that little bit of free time where we could get things back together before he comes back at 2. And I'm happy. So, but just now when he came over here, my wife wants to put him back to sleep quick because it's already 2 in the morning. He got to wake up at like 7. So he was already asleep for like 2 hours. If he sleeps till 7, he gets 7 hours sleep. That's good enough for his first day back, And, I'm very relieved. I'm sorry I broke the Halloween theme, but it wasn't even me. Blame it on my son. Nah, I'm just playing. But my son came over here because he's so close to his mother when he's 15 years old, 14. And when he wakes up, the first thing he does is jump out the bed, walks over here and pulls on his mom's so she could like lightly pat him on his back until he falls back to sleep. Then she got to make her escape out the room because if he notices that she is leaving, he'll get up and follow her and pull her back and make her pat her more, So it's crazy, you know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, what I was gonna say was we're gonna get back to this now. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to gear off from the topic at hand. All right, so I'm still sharing. Let me hit play.
I have a flash.
What I was gonna say was in the first one, it looked like it was a bear, you know, and that he never really got to figure out what happened or whatever. That was kind of dry. I'm hoping the one with the dog is better. I'm a matter of fact, I'm gonna even take it back to the ending of the first one.
We still don't know who it could have been.
Not really pleased with that one, Mr. Nightmare. We're gonna see what story 2 by Apollo is like.
This game, you're not.
Let me tell you something. Destiny is the best game ever made. Well, Destiny 2, right?
I have a dog who I take for a walk 3 times a day. First in the morning, then in the afternoon, and finally at night. I take him on the same route every time, which is through our driveway exit, which leads to a cul-de-sac parking lot for the condominium complex we live in. This will make sense soon as to why I'm telling you this. On the night walk, I always go somewhat late. I'm not sure why, but it's been a habit ever since I've had him, and it's never been a problem for us. Until one night, I begin our final walk of the day and go our usual route. I have a flash.
All right, I'm gonna give you a little insight also. All right, so the guy that we're watching, he does put himself as the narrator. What he does is he receives stories, I believe, scary stories, or he researches for scary stories. He writes his own report or whatever, and then when he talks about the story, he 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 um um he does the story like if he's reading the letter from the person. So that's why you hear him say it like he's reading a letter from a guy that's telling him a story, and he sounds like he's first person narrating, but really it sounds more like he's reading the letter.
Flashlight with me as there are no lights at the parking lot. And I'm listening to music with only one AirPod as I feel it would be for the best just in case I heard something unusual.
Always leave one ear pod out when you're in the street. Do not put both ear pods in, especially late at night when the streets are empty. Make sure you can hear at least through one ear. You put both ear pods in while you're walking late at night. You just made yourself deaf for a serial killer, a prowler, or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying?
And I did. As I'm approaching the parking lot, I was hearing something. A voice of some kind that was up ahead of me. But I was completely zoned out in my own world of music as it was happening. But then my mind finally caught up, and I stopped. I took the AirPod out and stood still to listen, just to see if I was only hearing things. And then it happened again, a voice that spoke ahead of me, but I couldn't see anyone. So I did the stupid thing and continued to carefully walk forward because I thought it was all in my head. But something didn't feel.
Thank you. I'm live. That's why. That's my mom douche, y'all. And she got respect for the show. She didn't want to say nothing. Thank you, Ma.
Feel right about it. I stopped again after a few feet, right next to where all the cars were parked, and I had my flashlight pointed everywhere in front of me. I stayed listening, and the creepiest thing that has ever happened to me yet was hearing a muffled voice of what sounded like a kid say the word help. My heart dropped so fast I couldn't move my legs. I frantically pointed my flashlight everywhere to see.
This one's more spookier than the last one, that's for sure. You know, he described the parking lot like perfectly when he said a parking lot in the shape of the cul-de-sac. That's exactly what I pictured. All right, so let's keep going, y'all. He said that he heard a little boy cry for help. He said he's walked his dogs He's walked his dog a million times and nothing has ever happened. And he said he started walking toward this parking lot cul-de-sac, and he heard noises of what sounded like a little boy saying, "Help me." And he said the hairs on his body stood up.
See where it was coming from. I was sure it was coming from the cars, but I was completely thrown off by this. But there wasn't a kid in sight or anyone nearby. It was just me and my dog, who didn't seem to notice anything as he was just sniffing some bushes nearby. And then I heard it again. The word help was spoken 3 more times, and it was coming from my left side where the cars were parked. It made me panic even more. I didn't know what to think of it, and I knew I wasn't imagining this when I saw my dog's ears perked up, and he was looking in the same direction I was facing after it happened. And that's when it hit me about how incredibly eerie all of this was. After hearing it multiple times, I realized the kid's voice didn't sound entirely like a kid. I don't know how to explain it, but it was like the mix of an adult and a child.
You know, I watch a lot of stuff about, what's going on with all the lights in the sky, the things that they're considering anomalies, maybe UFOs, UABs, things that can go from air to underwater, all that stuff, the skinwalkers, the humanoids, the shapeshifters. Well, like I said, everything is alleged, and people believe what they believe. But when I've heard so many stories about stuff like this that it sounds like he's referring to a shapeshifter, I believe, because they're the ones that throw out a voice that's not theirs, and then they're trying to reel you in with the voice.
At the same time, and each time they called for help, not only was the voice always muffled, but it was spoken in a more generic statement as opposed to a cry for actual help every time. And I mean that literally. There was absolutely no change in the tone, inflection, sound, or anything of sorts. My dog and I ran straight home afterwards, and I tried to explain to my mom what happened. She was puzzled herself about what it could have been, and I suggested we call the cops on the off chance that there was actually someone in need of help. But she didn't think it was necessary. So many questions were conjuring up in my head. Why was the voice muffled? Was there someone in the car that I couldn't see? Or was it something darker waiting for me to move closer? I don't like to think too much about it, but whatever it was, it still makes me feel extremely disturbed to this day.
If we don't get an answer with this story of some sort, I'm changing it. Oh man, I'm stuck, y'all.
Head was peering just over every window that night and run the air conditioning just for added safety. When I awoke the next morning, I was just delighted to see sunlight. I don't believe that man ever returned to our house, and we still don't know who it could have been.
It wasn't a bear. I forgot he did see a person in part 1.
So I did the stupid thing and continued to carefully walk forward because I thought it was all in my head. But something didn't feel right about it. I stopped again after a few feet. I pointed my flashlight at
I saw war. I saw booming. I saw
everywhere to see where it was coming from. I was sure it was coming from the car. And I mean that literally. Was there someone in the car that I couldn't see? Or was it something darker waiting for me to move closer? I don't like to think too much about it, but whatever it was, it still makes me feel extremely disturbed to this day. This picture is where I had stopped and taken my AirPods out to listen, and I heard it up ahead on the left. This is where I had gotten closer and heard it on my left side. I'm aware that there's a condo complex on the right side, which some may think the noise was coming from, but it was in this direction facing the cars where my dog and I heard it. And you could see from this point of view that there's nothing to really indicate a noise coming from somewhere else. Also, at the time this happened, the cars that were parked were trucks and SUV types, so they were a lot larger and covering more space, thus making it harder to see from where I was standing. I never figured this out.
All right, yeah, we're not doing this. All right, stop sharing. No disrespect to Mr. Nightmare, but I'm looking for something a little more I'm looking for something a little more juicy for the Halloween spirit. I'm gonna calm down just for a second, y'all. Don't worry about it. I'm still here. I'm gonna be talking. So, but yeah, that didn't exactly go how I wanted it to go. I think even though, like, there's a lot of time before the 31st, so there's exactly literally what is it, 23 days left before Halloween. So yeah, what I'm gonna do before I do another Halloween jump off is I'm gonna research. You know what I mean? But what I'm gonna do too is I'm gonna show you one of the ones that I've already watched that I know is good in a second. We hanging tonight. I'm gonna be up for a bit. I still gotta finish that documentary, but I'm chilling for a second. It'd be cool if Barbara popped up, or Chola, or Frankie Blanco, or Dub Wubs, or any of them, Matt Ritchie, uh, just the whole, all my regulars. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they be asleep, but they be awake at this hour too. What I was gonna say, half hour. I didn't even really locate nothing. Let me check. Let me check on this. Let me check my subscriptions. Give us something good to watch that I know is good to watch. Boom, 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 boom. Where should I go? I'm gonna go to my history. Yeah, history is best for me to like share with you guys, because this stuff, sometimes I walk away from stuff and it plays out and I really didn't watch it all. But most of this stuff, like, I watched. You know what I mean? And like I said too, I don't like doing the same I don't like doing the same content every day. So if it's hip hop 2 or 3 days in a row, or it's police brutality, or just social issues, whatever, I want to try to find something else to brighten it up. You know what I mean? And then heroes get arrested by cops. All right. All right, you know what? I'm gonna throw this one on, even though this one doesn't really fit the Hollywood theme. I mean the Halloween theme. It's still cool, because I watched it earlier and it's interesting. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm looking for right now. I'm gonna cam back up in a second. Yeah, this one's all right. I was watching this one. All right, guys, here we go. You know what it is with the spooky ones. Let me cam back up. You know what it is with the spooky ones. Sorry about that. With the spooky ones, you want to get the right one. You know what I mean? With other ones, you could pretty much just pick any one and it'll be decent. But with the scary ones, if you pick the wrong one, you'll be like, what is this crap? You know what I'm saying? So we'll do a continuation on the Halloween jump off till tomorrow. And let's check out the 21 actors currently rotting in jail. Yo, and God forgive me too, because jail is nothing to laugh at. But I'm just saying the title of this YouTube stuff is bananas. All right, so I'm about to turn it on. Mind you, I'm not a fan of a guy who does something rotten or horrible and they end up getting punished for it. But let me tell you something. All these people that be screaming, "Oh, good, throw them in jail." You talk all that stuff until you get wrongfully arrested, or they arrest you over some bull crap, and you end up spending some time in that place you said to stick that guy, and then you're like, "Oh, what did I say? I wished. What did I wish on that guy? This is what you wished on the guy. Now go through it, since you know what I mean." But there are people that belong in prison. You know what I'm saying? I just don't. I'm not quick to be like, "Oh, throw them in jail." You know what I mean? That's just how I am. But there are people that can't be out here. They too reckless. Talking about people hurting your moms, your kids. You know what I'm saying? With me, it's more like violent crimes is under a little more understandable. You know what I'm saying? But if a person steals an apple because he's starving, you know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, let's get it cracking. All right, let me hit the present button. Share screen. Waka flocka flame. Here you go. You got to hit this button. Remember too, when you share, you gotta add it to the stage, or you won't be able to. I found that out the hard way. It went mute quite a few times on me. All right, we should be rocking and rolling, guys. Let's get it popping.
Look at 21 actors currently rotting in jail and the reasons why. Number 21, Michael Jace. 62-year-old Michael Jace.
I wasn't even familiar with him until they broke it down.
Best known for his roles as Officer Julian Lowe on the TV series The Shield, involved in a horrific crime on May 19, 2014. Jace shot and killed his wife, April Jace, in their Los Angeles home. The couple had been married for over a decade and had 2 young sons. The reason behind the murder arose from marital tensions, particularly revolving around financial difficulties and Jace's jealousy. During the murder, Jace shot April, who was an avid runner, twice in the legs and once in the back, allegedly telling her, "If you like running, then run to heaven." After the incident, Jace called and reported that he had shot his wife. As if this wasn't cruel enough, he did it in front of their 2 kids aged 8 and 5 at the time. The police arrived to find April dead from the gunshot wounds. During the trial, it was...
Now, I just talked about how I'm not quick to say somebody belongs in jail or I'm glad he's in jail. And then this guy comes on. And then this is a guy who's 62 years old, who probably has no other record really. You know, I can't bank on that. That's speculation. But what I'm saying is he just looks like the type that lost it over love, or, that's not love. You don't tell a person run to heaven if you love them. You know what I'm saying? And she has family members and stuff. And those are the ones I think of first. To think about him or anybody that cares about him first would be not logical. You know what I'm saying? He did it. He blacked out. He did it in front of his kids. You took the mom Dukes right in front of the kids, and you told her run to heaven, and the kids they gotta witness that. They gotta live with the trauma of that. That could tear one of them up bad. It could tear both of them up. And when I said I'm not quick to say a guy should be in jail, he doesn't. I'm not talking about him. Let him be where he is. You gave it up dirty.
It was revealed that Jace had suspected his wife of wanting to leave him and jealousy over her perceived interaction.
And no disrespect to his family, but I'm just saying, look, that's foul. It don't get no worse than that. Like, you know, you let your jealousy, let the devil creep in.
With other men was a significant motivator for the killing, in addition to the substantial financial problems he was going through, having filed for bankruptcy in 2011. It was also revealed that Jace had a history of domestic violence. He was charged with first-degree murder.
I said he's probably 62 and don't got a record. Well, I was wrong about that.
Which is the most severe type of
These games be crazy.
homicide charge. He was also charged with using a firearm in the commission of the crime. In May 2016, Michael Jace was convicted of second-degree murder. The jury found that while the killing was intentional, it did not meet the criteria for first-degree murder, which requires premeditation. Jace was sentenced to 40 years to life in prison. He will not be eligible for parole until he has served at least 40 years, effectively making it a life sentence, given his age at the time of sentencing was 54, and is currently held at the Corcoran State Prison in California, just like the actor sentenced to death by lethal injection coming up later in this video. Be sure to stick to the end to see the Squid Game actor recently sent to jail, plus 2 newly arrested actors rotting in jail. Number 20. Danny Masterson. Danny Masterson, best known for his role as Stephen Hyde on the popular TV show That 70s Show, was recently convicted of multiple counts of sexual assault.
I'm pretty sure quite a few of you guys remember this because That 70s Show was one of the biggest sitcoms during its time.
The allegations against Masterson first came to light in the early 2000s, when 3 women accused him of forcing himself onto them in separate incidents that occurred between 2001 and 2003. All 3 women were connected to the Church of Scientology, of which Masterson is a prominent member. The accusations against Masterson were initially kept out of the public eye, reportedly due to the influence of the Church of Scientology. The women claimed that they were pressured by the church not to go to the authorities, with some stating they were threatened with excommunication or other repercussions if they reported the crimes.
See, I didn't know that he was Scientologi'd out, you know what I'm saying? And no disrespect to the people that are into that, you know, religion, whatever label it falls under. I think it is a religion. But there's people inside Scientology that are good, you know, and a lot of people would say that they you know, they're just got the wool pulled over their eyes right now. Then other people will say you got to let people live their life, you know. Some of these people are going to probably pass on as Scientologists and never did anything wrong and just believed in the church. So you can't, like, I don't like labeling whole groups, you know what I'm saying? I think there's good and bad in everything, especially when the group is big. I'm not talking about a group of 5. A group of 5, yeah, all 5 of them could be like stupid low lives, you know what I'm saying? But when you got a group of a mass group, there's got to be a good heart in the mix. You get what I'm saying? You know, once the numbers get to a certain, you know what I'm saying, there's got to be somebody in there that's thinking rational, that wants to help. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got to remember, if you think about, like, let's say a bunch of people doing something under command of another person, they could be doing it out of fear, you know, which still is a coward, but you know, they're not doing it because they're malicious. They're doing it because they think if they don't, it's a wrap for them.
It wasn't until the Me Too movement gained momentum that the allegations resurfaced, leading to revived investigations. In 2017, following a series of renewed complaints, the Los Angeles Police Department reopened the investigation into the allegations against Masterson. By 2020, he was formally charged with 3 counts of forcible sexual assault, with the prosecutors arguing that he used his status and influence within the Church of Scientology to silence his victims and avoid justice.
The sound effects are loud on this video. That's why I chuckled. I wasn't chuckling about this. This is disgusting. You know, he's a piece of crap if he did what they accused him of.
For years. In May 2023, after a lengthy and emotional trial, Masterson was convicted on 2 counts of forcible sexual assault. The jury was deadlocked on the 3rd count, leading to a mistrial on that charge. In September 2023, Danny Masterson was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison, meaning that he will not be eligible for parole until he has served at least 30 years. He will be aged 78 at that time. He is...
All right, he's not getting out till he's 80. They, you know, they took his life from him and put him in jail. And if he truly had, you know, he did what he did, what he's accused of, you know, he don't fit the criteria of what I said before. You know, you do something to that degree, and they do that. They throw you, they throw the key away. You know, what could I say?
Currently imprisoned at the California Men's Colony, a medium to minimum security prison in San Luis Obispo. By the way, did you know...
I wouldn't stick up for an entertainer. I wouldn't stick up for a cop. I wouldn't stick up for a friend if they truly crossed that line and it was something to the degree of evil. Once you commit an act that constitute me being able to call you evil sincerely, I don't care what happens to you.
That the guy who plays Francis in Malcolm in the Middle is his younger brother? Well, now you know. Number 19, Amy Locane. 52-year-old Amy Locane, known for her role as Sandy Harling in the TV show Melrose Place, was involved in a tragic car accident on June...
Check real quick to see if anybody came in real quick. Eyes, you know, because if anybody drops a comment, I want to miss
27th, 2010, in Montgomery Township, New Jersey. Locane, who was driving under the influence of alcohol, crashed into another vehicle while driving 53 miles per hour in a 35-mile-per-hour zone. The collision resulted in the death of Helene Seaman, a 60-year-old woman, and seriously injured her husband, Fred Seaman. Locane's blood alcohol level was nearly 3 times the limit for legal impairment at the time of the accident, just like the other actress coming up later in this video. Locane was charged with second-degree vehicular homicide and third-degree assault by auto. The legal proceedings were complex and extended over several years.
I don't think she gets life. If I remember correctly, she gets like 8 years or something. I'm going to chuck this a little forward.
Picture this. You're sitting at home alone watching YouTube videos, wondering why you can't find the motivation to do the things you need or want to do.
Relatively short sentence. However, the Seaman family, as well as the prosecution, judge cited factors like her lack of a prior criminal record and her 2 young children as reasons for the relatively short sentence. However, the Seaman family, as well as the prosecution, argued that the sentence did not adequately reflect the gravity of the offense. They pushed for a harsher penalty, leading to a series of appeals and resentencing hearings. During this time, Locane's husband filed for divorce and for custody of their 2 daughters. In 2020, after several appeals and legal challenges, Locane was resentenced to 8 years in prison. She is required to serve at least 6 years and 10 months before being eligible for parole. She is currently incarcerated at Edna Mahan Correctional.
They gave her 7 years, you know. All right. You tell me if you see this video, if she deserved, more time than the 7 years she got. Um, you know, um, she I believe it was drinking and driving. And let me go back a little.
Other actress coming up later in this video. Locane was charged with second-degree vehicular homicide and third-degree assault by auto.
Right.
The legal proceedings were complex and extended over several years. Initially, in 2012, Locane was sentenced to 3 years in prison, a sentence that many criticized as being too lenient given the severity of the crime. Locane was charged with second-degree times the limit for legal impairment at the time of the accident,
She was drunk.
just like the other.
All right, so you guys tell me if you think 7 years is enough for killing, taking the lives of 2 people while you're intoxicated, behind the wheel. I know for some people they might be more lenient on, and then others they would throw the book at them, but she got 3 years initially. And when they brought the fire, I guess, because they upped it from 3 years to 6 years and 10 months, which means they doubled it after they protested the initial sentencing.
Other actress coming up later in this video. Locane was charged. Number 18. Drew Drexel. Drew Drexel, well known as a champion on American Ninja Warrior, was arrested in August 2020. Drexel's arrest shocked fans and followers, as he had been a beloved competitor and the 2019 winner of American Ninja Warrior. The charges against him were severe and involved deeply disturbing allegations related to the exploitation of a minor. The case against Drexel began after the mother of a teenage girl contacted authorities, accusing him of engaging in inappropriate sexual conduct with her daughter. The incidents reportedly occurred over several years, beginning when the girl was 15. Drexel was accused of engaging in illicit sexual activities with the minor and traveling across state lines to meet her for the purpose of committing illegal acts.
Sorry, guys, I'm gonna go back a little.
And involved deeply disturbing allegations related to the exploitation of a minor. The case against Drexel began after the mother of a teenage girl contacted authorities, accusing him of engaging in inappropriate sexual conduct with her daughter. The incidents reportedly occurred over several years, beginning when the girl was 15. Drexel was accused of engaging in illicit sexual activities with the minor and traveling across state lines to meet her for the purpose of committing illegal acts.
Haven't said his age.
The investigation revealed evidence of sexual exploitation, including explicit communication between Drexel and the victim. NBC and American Ninja Warrior quickly severed ties with him, removing any content featuring Drexel from their platforms and distancing the show from the scandal.
Yeah, I mean, he's not exactly a superstar, if you get my drift, but he's still no, but not to be like that. That's irrelevant anyway. You know what I'm saying? The fact is that he messed up, but what I'm saying is that he's not exactly the super celebrity that I mean, even Danny Masterson isn't like a super celebrity, but he's humongous Hollywood wise compared to this dude. And it's irrelevant. The only thing that's relevant is the crime, and if they punish them correctly, or if they like threw the book at them and they didn't deserve it. You know what I'm saying? But oh man, the what I was gonna say, the first guy, the guy from the cop show. Oh man, he was the worst so far. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Danny Masterson, if he really, made the sex happen without their consent, then he I'm not standing up for what I'm not trying to overturn the sentencing. You know what I'm saying?
Sponsors and partners also cut ties, effectively ending his career in competitive sports entertainment. The 35-year-old was charged with multiple serious offenses, including manufacturing illegal materials involving children, enticement of a minor to travel for illicit sexual conduct, and use of interstate commerce to entice a minor to engage in sexual activity. As of September 2024, Drexel's legal case is ongoing, with the potential for a 45-year prison sentence if convicted on all charges. Number 17, Harvey Weinstein.
All right, let me get this. It said it stopped working for a second. All right, but let's get this popping. Like, I definitely want to say something about that. The age, I still really didn't hear the ages. I heard, it don't matter though. When you're like right now, P Diddy. It's crazy how P Diddy. I didn't do it on purpose, but he ties into this as far as like comparison, like whether like the guy from Ninja Warrior is being accused of acting like a piece of crap over having sexual fantasies fulfilled, and his fantasies were that of having engaging with kids that were inappropriate age wise. Now and then he was flying kind of little girls around and stuff like that. If I caught the part where they said having overseas relationships or whatever, but to heck with him too. And then look at this. He's my favorite, and I say that in a in an intellectual sort of way. I'm not gonna break it down why this is my favorite, and not even to be favorite. Like, I wish no downfall of no man. It's not even that. It's that when you go to a certain place and your downfall happens, like the downfall of Diddy, that's the name of the documentary on Tubi. So I don't care that he had a downfall. I don't care that Diddy had a downfall. And that, let me tell you something. One is a Jewish man, and one is a black man. I don't care. They're both human beings. And let me tell you something. I can't compare Diddy to this man. You understand what I'm saying? Because they haven't showed us anything that compares to what Harvey Weinstein was found guilty of. You know what I'm saying? Harvey Weinstein was found guilty of horrible things, and now they're trying to figure out if Diddy was guilty of things as horrible as that. Maybe worse, maybe not as worse. They said, I'm going to tell you something. There's one thing I got to say, because I cannot stand when a person is not treated fairly in court, and then later on they find out that he didn't do something, and it was because they speculated and they had a pre-notion, and they were going to go a certain way no matter what they heard. Now, with the sex trafficking charge with P. Diddy, that's one of the biggest charges. That's the biggest charge. That's the one that could hem him up in jail for a long time. They were saying that the only person talking about that happening so far is Cassie. So, there was a lot of women involved. For there not to be somebody else talking about sex trafficking is odd. So, as far as people talking about how I talked about Diddy when all this happened, I kept it real right there. What he did to her, it was foul. You know, what they punished him with, you know, he gets punished with. It's not, I have no problem with that. But if what we seen on tape is what happened, and they were saying that even Cassie, there was times where she would see Diddy belittle a person, son a person, punk a person, and she would chuckle and stuff. Now, like I said, if the man, you know, did, like, well, not if, he did what he did on the camera, you know, that's obvious. But as far as sex trafficking, if you can't find, like, proof that he was profiting, like a escort service type thing, then you got no sex trafficking, you know, and he doesn't deserve time that comes with sex trafficking. He deserves time for what we've seen on camera and what else gets proven, you know. And if they can't prove the sex trafficking, then give him the appropriate time. I don't want a person to do time because people hate him. He's got to be guilty of the crime, you know. So, but anyway, let's watch the Harvey Weinstein jump off.
Harvey Weinstein.
Oh, and first of all, big shout out to Boggles. You know what I'm saying? Books, he's back. Yeah, my mother didn't go over there. What's up, Poppy? I love you. Say hi to the people on the video. Hey, he smiled. Hey, I'm live, everybody. You know, my son just came in to go back to sleep with his hair sticking up. When I told him, he said, you want to say hi to the people? He smiled. While he was half asleep, too. So I'm glad. Whenever he's happy, I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? All right, so we can start this back up now. Yeah, because we definitely gotta watch this one.
Weinstein, the untouchable Hollywood producer, became the face of the Me Too movement after numerous women came forward in 2017 with allegations
I'm not a big fan of this guy.
of sexual misconduct. Weinstein co-founded Miramax and the Weinstein Company, producing critically acclaimed films like Pulp Fiction, Shakespeare in Love, and The King's Speech, even appearing in some of them. However, his career and reputation were destroyed when a pattern of sexual harassment, assault, and abuse spanning decades was exposed. The first allegations were brought to light by investigative reports from the New York Times and the New Yorker. These reports detailed the accounts of multiple women, including who accused Weinstein of sexual harassment, coercion, and assault. High-profile.
Oh, he's you know what it was with him, the power, the people not being able to get a job because if you didn't do something sexual, he was gonna dead you. Not, that's a way of saying he was gonna make sure you were blacklisted. So he was a worse kind of predator because he didn't just sexually hurt you, he mentally hurt you, financially hurt you. He would affect your whole family from the things he would do. He would affect your life. People felt like they had to bow down just because he had the almighty dollar. What I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to cut it up off on Harvey Weinstein. You know what I'm saying? I've been on for a while. I'm gonna let the rest of this play though. That's one thing. When this hits the end, we're gonna have a little talk about what we saw, and then I gotta let you go because now I gotta help her. All right, so hold on 1 second. Yeah, all right, we're gonna start it right back up.
Profile actresses like Ashley Judd and Rose McGowan were among those who accused Weinstein of inappropriate behavior, which ranged from unwelcome advances to outright sexual assault. The revelations led to a cascade of similar accusations from women around the world, making Weinstein a symbol of the systemic abuse of power in Hollywood. In May 2018, Weinstein was arrested in New York City and charged with several crimes.
See, I can't. I'm gonna tell you something else, man. You wanna know why I really can't stand guys like Harvey Weinstein and P. Diddy? You got all this money. You got all this money. All this money. And you're gonna say, well, I earned it, so I could do what I want with it. Look at what happened. What you did with that money is spend millions and millions and tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions with the lawsuits. Talking about 200 and something million if you're talking about P. Diddy on being a sexual deviant. $250 million on filling a sexual appetite, allegedly. How you don't take that $250 million and feed people across the world? You could fill your soul. Like, I don't never be on no real religious stuff like that with you guys. You guys know me, and I'm not apologizing for being religious. I'm just saying, like, I spare other people. I believe in God to a very high degree. And I don't never talk about it on this show, but you're my guy. $250 million on a sexual appetite instead of feeding children in Africa and in other slums, Vietnam, Thailand, those people, Sri Lanka, all those places are it's tough. Mexico, the government is messed up in Mexico. It's wild, and guys that have the amount of money, like those two dudes, you gotta take some of that bread, and you gotta give it away.
Including forcible sexual assault in the first and third degrees, criminal sexual act in the first degree, and predatory sexual assault, a charge that carries a potential sentence. Weinstein from the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. His production company declared bankruptcy. His wife divorced him, and the Queen of England stripped him of the prestigious CBE honor that he had received in 2004. In February 2020, Harvey Weinstein was convicted of 2 felony charges: criminal sexual assault in the first degree and forcible sexual assault in the third degree. He was acquitted of the most serious charges, including predatory sexual assault, which could have led to a life sentence. On March 11, 2020, Weinstein was sentenced to 23 years in prison in New York and a further 16 years in California in 2023. The judge also ordered him to register as a sex offender. On April 25, 2024, the New York Court of Appeals overturned the New York convictions and said that the trial judge had made egregious errors. The court has ordered a retrial with Ashley Judd, stating that the decision to overturn the convictions was unfair to the survivors. Despite this, Harvey continues to languish at the Mohawk Correctional Facility in New York and is currently 72 years, meaning he will be 107 when he is released. Number 16, Josh Duggar.
All right, look, tomorrow I'm going to come back on with you guys, right? Let me stop sharing. All right, tomorrow I'm gonna come back on with you guys, and I'm gonna pick it up from Josh Duggar. Well, I was gonna say, yeah, listen, I'm gonna tell y'all something else too. I could do these things pre-recorded. You understand what I'm telling you? So the reason it takes a long time for me to get stuff going sometimes is because we're live. You know what I mean? So like everything, like all these lives, it's hard to execute perfectly, especially when you solo and you don't got a wider view, and there's a lot of reasons. But like you see, my son just came and wanted somebody to put him back to sleep. That's the autism, you know. And you know what's even crazier? Like sometimes I'm like, you think he heard you from all the way over here, and I'm like, nah, he's just waking up, you know. But like that's another thing too. You over here wondering if, you know, like you know, you're being too loud, and the kid woke up because of you, but it has nothing to do with that. One thing I'm gonna tell you something about autism. Autism will make you think that you've done so many things and you didn't. You know, I've had a teacher try to tell me that I sent him to school, right? Um, um, Without enough sleep, and she has no idea what we go through. And I won't send my son to school if he didn't sleep enough, you know. So like her speculations, I wrote to her the next day. I'm like, yo, you can't be speculating like that. You know, you have no clue, and you're over here. Like, she made accusations that she didn't see with her own eyes. She has no knowledge of nothing. And she's literally made accusations. So I told her in a letter, you can't be doing that. I'm like, you know, it's the contrary of what you're saying. And not only that, you literally lucky I'm a good guy, because if I wanted to, I could get you lit up by your bosses. But I'm not gonna do that, you know. I said, I understand you don't know, have no clue, and you might for a second make the mistake of thinking you could fathom what me and my wife go through. You know, like nobody. I was over here, my wife was right there. He's 4 rooms away, and there's no noise being made. My mother is literally sleeping in the room in front of me because I've taken care of my mom for 30 years, and she's literally quiet like a church mouse. You know, the autism is 14 years of the diagnosis. We've been walking on eggshells in our kitchen for 14 years. People could cook late night if they want. We can't cook late night. And we don't, you know, and I don't care. When it comes to my son, whatever I gotta, you know, be like, you know, however it alters my life, I have no resentment. You know, I separate him in the disease. You know, he's not autism. You get what I'm saying? He's Jaden. You know, the autism has done stuff, and it's put both me and my wife in a situation, you know, where we're so lucky that we're smart, that we can understand that a lot of stuff that happens, I mean, not even a lot, everything is because of the autism, and it's not anything about us. We're beautiful parents, and it's crazy how the autism will make an ignorant person look at you sideways. You get what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know, I'm gonna leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? You know my style. You know I like to keep it real. I'm an official nigga. I spared that teacher. That's real stuff, because she made accusations she shouldn't have made. She actually had me recording what goes on at night, so they like I was gonna light it up and be like, but my son had after we had went through that with the teacher, I my wife had to wake up and put my son to sleep, and he threw a violent tantrum for no reason, like started going ham. And this is right on the same day that the teacher speculated and made a false accusation. So I'm like, yo, Lee, I recorded. I said, you see, I said, you have no idea what we go through. Look at what my beautiful wife has to do because the autism makes him angry just because he's frustrated. And another child might be groggy, but with him it turned into a violent tantrum. And she's over here, dodging swipes. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a lion throwing scratches and stuff. But it comes with the territory. But then when somebody makes such a stupid, ignorant accusation from speculation, it's like, she's lucky I'm not a son of a gun because and I used to be a son of a gun, and I would have been vicious. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't want to take it to like a lawyer, bring it to the principal to be like, yo, she said stuff that's not true because she's up in her own head speculating. And meanwhile, what she said is actually the opposite. My wife is the best caregiver in the world, and then I'm right there to back up. You know how hard it would be if me and her were in a duo? I couldn't even picture a single mom with my son. And what's crazy is my wife is such a trooper. She's the one that makes me think, okay, there are women out there that can handle a kid like my son by themselves, but it would not be fair. That's what I'm saying. Like that's the type of stuff people should be spending their money on. Not getting sexual gratification in fantasy-like ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. You do what you do with your money. I'm a G, nigga. That's not my money. I don't count your money. But what I'm saying is, in my opinion, rather than go spend $250 million on getting nookie, and then still having to include maybe forcefulness and stuff like that, what are you paying the $250,000 for? Take that $250,000 and go feed some kids, man. What's wrong with you, bro? Take people and put them in apartments right now. The rents are crazy. People are homeless. That's why I don't got no respect for dudes like Harvey Weinstein and P. Diddy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna leave it at that. That's my final word. I'm gonna let y'all go. Much love. It's your boy Spankdog, and I am out of here.